Welcome to The Secret Place with Steffa, Bennett. Devotions for hungry hearts and searching souls.
In the name of Jesus, Henry Nouwen. Again today, we're going to have a short meditation from Henry Nouwen. Hi, this is Steffa. I hope you're doing great. You're in the secret place, and I'm glad you came. Here's what Nouwen has to say today. The temptation to consider power an apt instrument for the proclamation of the gospel is the greatest temptation of all. We keep hearing from others as well as saying to ourselves that having power, provided it is used in the service of God and your fellow human beings, is a good thing. With this rationalization, crusades took place. Inquisitions were organized. Indians were enslaved. Positions of great influence were desired. Episcopal palaces, splendid cathedrals, and opulent seminaries were built, and much moral manipulation of conscience was engaged in. Every time we see a major crisis in the history of the Church, such as the Great Schism of the 11th century, the Reformation of the 16th century, or the immense secularization of the 20th century, we always see that a major cause of rupture is the power exercised by those who claim to be followers of the poor and powerless Jesus. What makes the temptation of power so seemingly irresistible? Maybe it is that power offers an easy substitute for the hard task of love. It seems easier to be God than to love God. Easier to control people than to love people. And easier to own life than to love life. Mic drop. It's like I want to, maybe I should just let that ring out and say nothing. Maybe. Oh my gosh. Power and love. There is such an illusion of power in this world. I like this concept that Francis of Assisi taught, and then he lived, obviously, and one of the books I share with my interpersonal students is a book by Quentin Schultz called Communicating for Life. And one of his ideas in there that he talks about is downward mobility. Downward mobility? Isn't that anti-American? I hope not, because I'm an American and I like being an American. Yeah, I do. Even though we have crassness and rudeness and so many problems in this country, I love being American. I was born here. But we have a perverse and illusory relationship with power and perspective on power. And it's not that the church is exempt from it. No, the church is right in the middle of it. It's one of the institutions that you get hierarchy, you get organizational corruption. It happens everywhere. It happens because we humans are flawed and we are frail. But the idea that downward mobility is kind of identifying us with Jesus. He was perhaps the greatest leader or teacher in the whole entire history of the world. I think he was. And for many people that's undisputed. He is. But instead of rising up and up and up and becoming more popular and more relevant and having everyone give him all kinds of acclaim, the longer he went on in ministry, the more he got slapped in the face and poked with a spear and pierced with a crown of thorns and suffered and died in humiliation. That sounds like downward mobility to me. Not anything that any of us would seek. But I think the phrase is apt. The phrase is interesting because it's obviously juxtaposed to this upward mobility, this push and cry and panic and pressure towards getting greater and more and expansive and richer, that not just in America, but for many people throughout the world, that's what life is about. More power. I'll never forget one of the teachers I respect, a writer that I really respect, named Tony Campolo from Camden, New Jersey area in Pennsylvania. They're eastern of Pennsylvania. He's a retired professor. I think he's professor emeritus at Eastern College. And when my husband and I went to an very early in our ministry, in our marriage, a youth conference a conference for youth workers, he was the main speaker, and he blew us away. And this was so many years ago, decades ago. But his whole teaching was about the difference between power and love, and it stuck with me. I mean, I still don't have all the lessons down. In fact, I'm so far from having the lessons down. I don't even want to bring me into it. I want to encourage you that power is an illusion. And we have in our youth certain amount of strength of body. It's normal to have more power and strength in terms of strength when we're younger. But if we're blessed to live a long life, the longer we go, the less strength that we have. And it seems like the less power we have as well. Young look up to the old and think they have all the power and whatnot, but then you get to be older and you realize you don't have it. You don't have it. But God is all powerful. And if we are eager to submit ourselves to Him in what I would simply say is a surrender. Lord, my life is yours. Take it. Take it and do with it what is best. Lead me and guide me and show me what is best. I have my ideas here. Filter them, Father. Show me what will work better, where I belong. He's faithful to show us. But here's the thing. Very often, those ideas and that direction and that wisdom from God does not lead us to the powerful, rich and famous, if you will, paths. It leads us to a lowly path, a path where, people might not take much notice of you or think you're irrelevant or not pat you on the back and say, hey, you're just dynamite. We need you so much, or you're the star. You're not going to get that much. We don't. That's not the road. Do you think that's why a lot of people don't want to seek God? Because they kind of innately know that? I don't know. I just know that through all the ups and downs in my life, I have never had one regret from being 17 years old, my first year of college, and saying, take me, I'm yours, Lord. Use my life. Let it be something that is meaningful. And you direct it. Again, lots of ups and downs, but I've never had one regret. And I think that, when we think about power, we've got to remember that there's only one true source of power. That is the God who made this universe. He is eternal. And His strength doesn't ebb away as the years pass by. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hang on to Him. Click into Him. Walk with Him. Trust Him. I'll see you again soon. Bye now.
Breathe, listen, and receive. Take a moment to soak it all in. Until next time.